If I place the heaviest bumper plate that I can find on a full can of Monster Energy, it will not crush. It'll actually hold up pretty well. But if I empty the exact same can and try to place the weight on again, it will crush before I even put the full weight of the plate on it. A similar thing happens if we don't breathe correctly when doing squats and deadlifts. We'll not exactly crush, but we'll have a form breakdown and a much higher chance of failing our lift or even injury. We want to almost imagine that our stomach or our core is like the can of Monster. We want to avoid our can being empty, as it's a lot weaker, by taking in too shallow of a breath, or even worse, breathing out before we complete a rep. And instead we want to be more like the full can. And we do this by taking in a big deep breath, fill up the can and expand your ribcage outwards. Imagine you're standing in chest height water and you're going to hold your breath as you go underwater until you complete your rep, coming back up for air again, resetting every time. So if you want to avoid injury and failing your lifts, you want to become a full can, not an empty one.
All right, this is Connor Klein, 3.3 million views on that one, 133,000 likes. I like that this is coming back. This was a big thing in like 2010. It was said back then you have your inner core and your outer core. Your outer core are your big muscles, your rectus abdominis, your external obliques, your erector spinae, even your glutes and adductors and hip flexors. That is your outer core. Your inner core is the pressurizers of that cylinder. You got the diaphragm pushing down from the top, you got the pelvic floor pushing up from the bottom, you got the TVA, the transversus abdominis, pushing from the front, and the multifidus pushing from behind. All four of those muscles activate to keep the cylinder pressurized, and those cylinder muscles are your inner core unit. And the purpose of this is to create intra-abdominal pressure, IAP, and what that pressure does during squats and deadlifts is when you're at the bottom, you're creating a spinal flexion moment. Gravity and the bar are wanting to flex the spine, round it, and your erectors have to contract hard to counter that flexion torque. They produce extension torque in order to stabilize the spine, but that intra-abdominal pressure also pushes back and creates a little bit of extension torque to help out the erectors. And also, when you take a big breath and brace, your outer core unit muscles, like the obliques, the rectus abdominis, they're further out from the spine, increasing their leverage, increasing their moment arms. But you do not want to use the abs much during a squat or a deadlift, because the abs and obliques will actually create a spinal flexion moment, which is the opposite of what you're trying to do. So you activate them just enough for stability, around 10 to 15% of maximum capacity, while using mostly erectors and some of that IAP to prevent the spine from buckling. So this concept is legit. A lot of people send this to me. They want to know my opinion. 2 thumbs up to this guy. Great demonstration. I'm Bret Contreras, aka the Glute Guy.